Warning: this show contains strong language, brutal opinions, and zero apologies given. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to Savaged Unfiltered, where truth gets raw, opinions stay real, and nothing is off limits. This isn't your average podcast. It's the unfiltered conversation you've been craving. Politics, culture, chaos, we're diving into it all. No scripts, no safe spaces, just savage takes and real talk. You're in the right place. Strap in. It's time to get unfiltered. Savage.
Hey guys, what is going on? Happy Tuesday for everyone out there. I don't know where to start with this. Due to some surprising, shocking discoveries of one of our now former personalities of the show, Raging Joe, known as Joseph M. Leonard, made a very unannounced statement regarding my good friend Sas, that joins me on the show from time to time. Okay. Which I found to be very unprofessional, okay, very uncanny. And I'm going to use that word again, guys. Radical. Okay. That is the one word that I've now tended to establish on this show, radicalism. And it's something that not only have I been fighting on this show for well over now almost 7 years. Okay, going on 7 years. This December we'll be going into our 7th season on Spotify. But something that I even thought Joe believed in, with fighting back against the radical statements, the radicalized demeanor in this country. Okay? And I guess I was proven wrong. Now, folks, I'm gonna go to this open statement here that I put out on X, which you guys can find, and even Sas's panel on X, you can see that here. Basically saying this, and this is the public statement that I put out to Raging Joe, known as Joseph M. Leonard. This is the actual email that I sent him. Okay. I hope this email finds you well. Okay. And you'll also discover one of the other reasons why he even wanted to step away from the show as well as broadcasting on the show as well, which we've taken a note of your recent decision to step away from broadcasting on the show due to ongoing frustrations with chroma key and color spill issues with your green screen setup, which those guys, if you're not well aware, people that tend to use green screen, um, when they go on panels and platforms like this, they have to constantly sync in the chroma key and the color spill. It's a type of technology that syncs in your green screen to give it that digital effect to more or less make it more of a production type setting, if you get what I mean. People tend to use that if they want to, make it into some type of realistic type of background, like if they're in a studio or that. Usually people like they use this if like they're in in their living room or, anywhere. Okay. So for the longest time, Joe would have issues with the chroma key and the color spill issues. So, we would always joke around, and I thought he was joking for the longest time, but I guess it turned into frustrations, which I understand. Okay. That's why I always give the link, okay, to anybody, whether it is co-host or, special co-host or even guest, like usually 30 minutes. I usually tell people to come in 30 minutes um, before the show. That gives you time, folks, to set up your stuff, right? Just if you're using green screen, to set up your chroma key and your color spill issues and stuff like that. Okay. So you have no lagging and no ghosting. That's the other term, the special fancy term for ghosting, color spill, when you have color spills in your green screen stuff. So, also, too, in the email, which you also can see, there was another part of that graphic yesterday. Additionally, we'd also like to address some of the statements that Joe had made last week on the show when Joe and Sauce were both featured on the show regarding Joe's statement. This is exactly everything that not only am I pissed off at, but I don't stand for. This is the radicalism, the unprofessionalism that I do not support. Now, regarding that statement, we here at Truth Productions Media, as well as the Savaged Unfiltered show, do not tolerate unprofessionalism. Okay. We found that statement to be made about Sauce, okay, calling him a cultist, to be very inappropriate and uncalled for, as it detracted from what we stand for on this show, professionalism. We strive, folks, to maintain on this show a high quality production, as well as key to key issues. We do not strive for just overtaking a show, meaning Joe, okay, which he does have time to time. He's known to do that for basically hijacking productions, okay? And for the longest time, I allowed him to do that, okay? That just shows the type of person that I am. I'm willing to give you a mic, I'm willing to give you a voice, I'm willing to let you air your content even if I don't agree with it. But it does not give you the fact that you can just say whatever the hell you want to say in your regards to make it all about you. Okay. I want to bring on Sauce here to the mix. Sauce, welcome in, by the way. I am truly sorry for, what's going on with you and, how Joe treated you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It was weird. Normally, I'm sure you and I both know that he's not like that. And you just wonder, like, now, I understand, as you could probably tell on my ex, I can be a little bit uncandid, and I can be a little bit
Sure.
unorthodox. But one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go and, I'm sure I have faced some pressure. I have endured some like really bad publicity,
Mm.
but that doesn't allow me to go lash out and try to like be on the good side or try to be on the middle ground anymore. You know, it's interesting because some people say, well, fighting for what is right, they think they're cut out for it, but eventually they will be tested. And for example, if you have been keeping track of my life,
Yeah.
you can definitely tell that being kicked out of a Christian college, I was on Savaged Unfiltered for that. I was during that time, and then shortly after being investigated for the so-called January 6th thing, and just getting absolutely lambasted by that, and then just getting continual like hurdles. But the
Mm.
purpose of that was to just like try to either churn or try to like, you know, the cat between my legs and run away and say, "Oh, please don't. Let me be on your good side now," you know. But
Sure.
it's, I don't know. It's just weird. It's not. I don't know. To me, I've just always wondered why they're like, and it's interesting. Like, I would say I'm not a cultist by any means. I don't think when you just because you disagree with like Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you also disagree with like prominent Republicans, and but then you agree more on President Trump. That doesn't mean you're a cultist, because President Trump is not a cultist. He's more of a practical business person, and as a business person myself, and as an immigrant, that's just called common sense thinking.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and for folks that are not well aware of Joe, known as the show Raging Joe, I kind of gave him that title because of some of his demeanor and personality of characteristics. Um, he tends to go into what I call hyper mode as an on-air personality. And for the longest time, maybe that's a mistake of mine, Sauce, that I didn't see it at first with Joe. But
Mhm.
like to come out and go into that just craziness of rhetoric and call you a cultist.
Mhm.
That's not what we're doing. That is for a person that is, a so-called Christian and a so-called conservative. That doesn't support or represent any of what he says he is. I
Mhm.
mean, wouldn't you agree?
Well, I would agree with it. I would agree with you on that, and I would also agree with you on this sense, saying that I would agree with you on this sense, knowing that like you also have to be thinking out like what is the bigger picture? Like, is it the fact that another thing I've also noticed is if you know that somebody's gaining traction, if you know that someone is like gaining like is kind of like saying, man, that person is more successful. Like, I mean, I might not podcast, which I've stepped away from, but that doesn't mean I'm pretty like. I mean, the only reason why I like podcast less now is because I'm more on the ground, and people are more than welcome to see my ex posts, and I'm traveling all over the place, and I'm interviewing people, and I'm contacting people, I'm speaking with lawmakers and stuff, and I mean, you're more than welcome to see my 8,000. I don't know how many ex posts I have, but you're more
There's a
than
lot, Sauce.
there is, but it just shows you that I do travel a lot. But the thing is that even without the podcasting stuff, if you know that somebody's trying to be more successful and stuff, there comes also a breaking point, like what happened with Elon Musk,
Yeah,
saying that like, okay, there's a snap that happens, and that snap is
sure.
just, it even hits the best of us. But once again, I want to reiterate the reason why I stepped away from podcasting was not because for my mental health. It was because of the January 6th thing, and because of our great state of Wisconsin came up with an incentive program for people to call in on each other, and to
Mhm.
have your house rated at 5:30 in the morning. And
Oh my God. Well,
that's why I was actually forced to not. Well, I
yeah.
was. Yeah, that's why
Well,
I
Sauce,
stepped away.
I kind of sent an invite to an old buddy pal of us, okay, to get his insight on this, to see on possibly the leftist view of how they feel on this. So I want to
Oh,
bring
boy,
in
is it Tommy Nation?
yeah, I want to bring in Tommy on this.
Oh
So
boy.
so Tommy, what is your views on certain I want to use this, okay? Certain so-called conservatives
What's up,
now
Tommy?
using that term cultist.
Cultist. Well, first of all, it's good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, you're coming in good.
All right. Thanks for inviting me on the show, Tommy Nation Politics Podcast. Savage, good friend of mine, and always good to talk with you, man. Good to see you, Sauce. Basically, there is a lot of cult activity going on in this country. It's disturbing me. on both sides. You know, I talked to you on the on the comments about how if it comes between a president and the United States of America, I'm always going to pick the United States of America and our Constitution, because those are the life, liberty, and happiness. I want that to be fulfilled in every man, woman, and child in this country. I think that we are actually one country, united under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. If anything gets in the way of that, it's a hindrance. And so there's a lot of cult activity on both sides, and we need to root it out. I think it's actually not really us that's causing it. I think it's a foreign influence that's causing it.
So you're saying it's a foreign influence in our country that are causing our own citizens to basically conduct in radicalism amongst each other. You find that to be a foreign influence? I find that interesting that you say that.
Yes, I do.
And why?
I wasn't ready to say, but I'm ready to say now.
Yeah, like the reason why you go into that, and I find that interesting because there's a lot of things, folks, that I do not agree with. People on the left, even people in the center, for that matter. I tend not to agree with them because of that radical mindset of how they view things. Okay, but to kind of counterpoint my own defense, I do find people on the right to be somewhat radicalized too, in a way. Your rhinos and people that are, uh, in my personal opinion, folks, no different than a Democrat in wolf's clothing. I've said that from time to time, and I strongly believe that. I will agree with you on that, Tommy, that a lot of what you're seeing, the hate, the division, the radicalism in this country, is somewhat on a foreign type of influence. Now, expand on that a little bit, because I want to go to Sauce a little bit, because I'm sure Sauce has some insights on that. But kind of elaborate what you're saying a little bit. You there, Tommy? Oh, we lost Tommy here. You went into freeze mode. So I'm gonna go back over. Oh, I think we have Tommy. Go ahead, Tommy. Tommy, you there? Oh,
So
yeah, go ahead,
okay,
Tommy.
I'm going to try to make this as consistent and concise as I possibly can, and try to make sense of it, guys. So basically, we have had in a little. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Tommy, we could hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tommy, we could hear you.
I'm having the worst time.
All right, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to Tommy here in a minute. He's having some connective issues here, maybe possibly internet issues, but we'll go back to Tommy. So Sauce, what's your insights on this? The latest comment from Tommy saying it might be some type of foreign influence.
I don't think so. No, that is but that's a typical media.
To an extent, it may be Sauce. To an extent, I'll give him a little credit. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you go, I mean, I've been to DC, I've been to Madison, I've been to a bunch of places. I think it's more the media more than anything, because it's more the media that is a problem, because in our institutions that is the problem. Like things that, like, hey, you can solve the problem and be the disruptor in society. And because you go on, I've been on campuses. You go on campuses. You go. I mean, look at the my post on X. That is as much information as you. That's as much as evidence you need of actual people that are non-influenced by foreign adversaries. I truly find that hard to believe, because I think if you don't get in the action of it, if you don't get involved in the ground game, then of course from the outside of it, you're gonna say, "Oh man, it's gotta be Russia that's fueling the misinformation. It's gotta be Russia. It's gotta be this, and this, and this." But when you actually talk, or when you try to talk to those people, the answers that they give you are C-SPAN, CNN, MSNBC, Reddit, and I think Blue Skies.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 things that I can come up with that give them the information. Now, last time I checked, all those are heavily Democrat-owned things. I just don't. To me, I like unless if I, it could be another perspective because I have an immigrant perspective, and when you go outside this country, there's always just hate for America. There's always just hate against
Oh
America.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's so much hate for this nation, but yet alone, like a lot of the people that migrate to this country, they always choose America over any other country,
yes. And see,
because they know the leniency that we have. They know and folks, this is just this. These are facts. These are facts.
and those immigrants tend to protect the freedoms of America. Those
Yeah.
immigrants, like for example, those because they realize this could be gone within. We're not guaranteed this, so we might as well just protect it. That's why I think. I also think that it's because of our politicians. That's another big picture of it and stuff. It's our politicians from both sides have been in for I don't know how many years or decades.
Mm.
It doesn't help that they also encourage poor behavior and try to purposely push the divide.
You know, Sauce. I was streaming on TikTok for just a brief period. We've basically ended the stream, obviously, but the reason for that is because of the the way the algorithms kind of run on TikTok. I
Yes.
know we're gonna go into content soon that may put me on the radar for like censorship and all that other stuff. But thank God we're on X and we're allowed to broadcast that on X. But and Rumble, of course, too. But there was an individual I noticed as I was kind of looking down at my other screen with Black Pill America stating that what you're saying is absolutely absurd, has nothing to do with foreign influence. And I think that was towards what Tommy I was saying just briefly before we lost him. And I do see him back in the green screen. So we'll try to bring him back up because obviously he was having some connective issues. So, but I mean, maybe Sus, to an extent, it has some type of slight degree of foreign influence because if it doesn't, where is this radicalism coming from? Where is this demeanor coming from? You know what
Our,
I mean?
our colleges and our institutions, you look at UW Madison, you look at our professors,
Mm.
for example, you look at our professors and, the fact that I get called out and I get called out on a daily basis for standing for what is right. And I even get told to go back to my own country. I don't know how many other times on a college campus. It is, people ask me, I was asked, do I think that McCarthyism, and I stand by this 100%, do I think that McCarthyism is a cancerous thing or a cancerous program in our minds? Yes, in the leftists on the Democrat side. I think it is. The reason why I think it is, McCarthyism is alive and full, is because it was instated, it was known as a Red Scare in our colleges, and it was known as a Red Scare in our institutions and just across the board. And it looked like it just kind of was a snowball effect, it just kind of
Yeah.
lingered on. And now we have a bigger issue that is trying to, how do you break that and how do you bring like the actual truth, because it's a lot easier to lie to people. And then I also believe this, if you lie to people so many times and if you lie to a generation so many times, that lie becomes a truth. So then when they actually hear the truth,
They
then
become they more or less believe their own bullshit, more or less, Sauce.
well, look at the Democrat Party. Look at the influence. Look at for example, the insider trading. You look at so I do the finance. I love looking at finances, everything. So the S&P 500, where I'm bringing this in layman's term, on a yearly return, you have people bringing the S&P 500 brings about 23.2% return on it. Well, the Democrat Party brings in about 42.5% return on it. That's like double the amount that it brings in. So you're
Oh,
telling me,
sure.
so that's why,
I've heard of that before, and that's
yeah,
actually very, very true. We did have Tommy coming in here, which we're gonna try to bring him up one more time, Tommy. If you can't figure it out by now, I'm sorry, buddy. I can't go. We'll have to like scrap this entire episode because of your poor connection here. But we'll bring Tommy in because Tommy is actually he wants to challenge you on one statement that you made. So, what are you saying, Tommy? You're calling Sauce a bluff?
Just the hypocrisy of Sauce. Every statement he makes is just a giant hypocritic. It's a giant hypocrisy. talks about the Democrat Party. First of all, they're the Democratic Party. Everything Sauce says is pretty much propaganda. But I did want to go back to my point about foreign influence, because he's really a part of that. He really is.
No, I'm not part of that. I am sorry, Tom.
He really is a part of that. He tries to hide the fact that he's a part of that, but he really is.
How am I
He really is.
Please,
he is the foreign
explain.
influence.
Please
so basically, guys,
please explain
pulling
how
back the
I'm
curtain
part
on
of
the
it.
most powerful people. We've got Russian foreign influence, and we've got the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and they are running our country. They're a lobbying group, of course. In 2024 alone, they had $100 million of campaign finance contributions, and they own 87% of our Congress, not the Democrat Party, Sauce. Not the Democrat Party.
Bernie Sanders is a Jew.
But both parties, Sauce. So you can just fuck off with your propaganda, bro, because they own 87%.
Hold on, Tommy. Let me put the brakes in, right? Let me land the plane here a little bit. All right, so I did this show to try to clarify to the airwaves of basically what was made against Sauce last week on the show with Raging Joe, Joseph M. Leonard, and Sauce, calling him a cultist. So more or less, the words aren't coming out of your mouth, Tommy, but more or less, you're basically going in the same direction. Why are you attacking this guy? Not only are you attacking him, but Joe's attacking him, and you're attacking him for certain degrees. Do you know he's right? Is that why you're attacking him? Because there are certain degrees of why people attack each other, because they either know that they're right, or they want that momentum of what Sauce has. I think a little bit of both, because we all know that Sauce has huge momentum in the conservative field of America.
So this isn't speculation. It's documented that basically 365 out of 435 U.S. representatives are owned by the APAC lobby. And that's just the truth. It's not the Republican or the Democrat. Michael, anybody who tells you that it's just one party is full of shit. It's just propaganda. And I don't know what to say. That's why I'm the talking sauce, to be honest with you. Is because he wants to make it one party. That's a distraction. That's a division, man.
I don't think he wants to make it one party. I'm not going to speak for Sauce. Sauce has his own tongue, and he's a big man, and he can speak for himself. But I don't think it's that part. Do you agree with that, Sauce, that they want to make it one party, meaning us?
No, that's far from the truth. That's like saying that the sky is purple, unless if you're colorblind. But then that's justifiable. But unless if you're colorblind. But
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he just wants it to make it look like it's just the Democrat Party, when in reality it's 365 out of 435 members of Congress. It's both parties. He wants to make it just the Democratic Party. He's a divider. He's a polarizer.
I'm not a divider.
You can't see
How is he a divider?
How is he dividing people? Bro. He keeps saying that.
Sauce was just up in Washington. Hold on. Sauce was just up in Washington, D.C. last week, in between when we were doing a live show with Joe and myself, and Sauce was literally right in the lion's den of radicalism, okay? And he showed on video of what media doesn't show you, Tommy. See, they don't show you what you want to see. The divide and conquer is not coming from the right. It's coming from the left, and you clearly seen that.
It's coming from 365. It's coming from both sides.
If you want me to show you personal cell phone videos, shots of Sauce, I will, for everyone to see it once again.
Go for it.
You really like
I'll pull it up.
You really like people. You really like personalities, man. You really like personalities.
It's not personalities. We are not for personalities. And the ones that are for personalities are proven to be former personality of the show, Joe. He's for personalities because it clearly sees that. He is the one that makes our movement bad, our party bad, because the statement he made about Sauce, you do not call a brother in arms, a proud patriot like myself and Sauce, meaning Sauce too, a cultist. He is far from a cultist. He's a patriot, man.
I'm curious. What did he say? What did Joe say about him? Because, maybe y'all agree with Joe. I don't know. What did he say?
Sash, you want to do that, or you want me to say it?
I'll let you say it. The
All
floor
right.
is yours.
So basically, Joe had questioned Sauce's stance on how he views the president right now with policy and certain message. And there was a statement issued right around the point where he basically had questioned about foreign policy, right, Sauce? Do I have that correct?
Yep.
Where he was going into a little bit of Gaza, right, and Palestinian people, and how, you know, he is more or less calling President Trump a hypocrite for going back on his word that he will not fund certain countries and this and that, which, I mean, in all reality, folks, he's not pulling a Biden. He's not just sending the money that Biden sent over there. We're sending money over there right now because to an extent, we still have servicemen and servicewomen in certain territory. Okay.
That's
As
cool.
security basis points. The money's going to them to help them what they need. Equipment, this and that. I mean,
There it is, man. There's the
how
foreign
much
influence.
more do I have to label
There's the
this?
foreign influence right there.
How is that foreign influence?
I agree with Joe. Oh my
That's
God.
not
crazy.
foreign influence.
How
I
is that
agree with him.
foreign influence, Tommy?
Congress alone has the power to declare war. We're not at war. There is no boots on the ground. There should be no money. There should be America first. I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I agree with Steve Bannon. I agree with Joe. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. You actually agree with these foreigners? And you want to send money to
I
other
never
countries
said
where
I
we
did
are
agree with
$37 trillion in
foreigners.
debt?
I
$37 trillion
agree
in debt.
with a certain degree of foreign people that
Holy
are not
shit.
engaging in conflict. That I will agree with. If you have countries that do not want to engage in war and conflict, I support them because they want peace. They don't want conflict. People in Israel want peace, Tommy. They don't want conflict. I don't understand why he's laughing, Sauce.
Oh my God, they're doing a genocide right now, bro. They want peace. They're murderers. Tucker Carlson,
Israel wants peace.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steve Bannon. I'm with you guys, okay? We got to get this out here. We got to get rid of these guys.
I am not.
We got to get rid of the problem, which is this guy.
No,
this guy
I am
right
not.
here.
No,
He is a plant. Steve Bannon, Tucker, Marjorie, call me. We got to get together. We got to get these guys out.
So
Israel is our enemy.
for the
Israel
longest
is our enemy.
time,
it's
Tommy,
not.
hold
No,
on,
it's not.
Sauce. Hold on. I'll give you the
Israel's
mic
our
in a
enemy.
minute. I'll give you the mic in a minute. Hold on. I gotta basically
Tucker,
challenge him
Carl,
on
call
this.
me, Tucker.
You for years have called me a bootlicker, right? For years you called me a bootlicker. All of a sudden, the bootlicker really is you, because for years, that since I've known you for the last couple of years, you were challenging Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling them crazy. You did.
Who's a bootlicker now?
Now all of a sudden,
Totally.
you're like, you're licking their asses.
Yeah,
Because you're
they're coming together with me. They're coming together with the left. They realize what the problem is.
God.
They realize what the problem is. They're doing a great job.
No,
they're doing a great job now. So that's what I'm talking about. Cult behavior, Michael. I just try to get through to you, okay? Because you're my friend.
It's not cult behavior.
It's the fact that I will praise them when they do good.
I can tell you what
I will
cult
chide them when they
behavior.
do bad. When they do bad, I will chide them. When they do good, I will just like you, Michael. If you do bad, I'm gonna criticize you. If you do great, I'm gonna applaud you.
I
don't
can tell
care
you
about
what cult
I don't care
behavior
about
is.
your demagogue. I don't
And
care about
it's
your
not
personality.
coming from your true conservatives of America. It's coming from your rhinos, your radical liberal leftists. That's cult behavior. When you force children into gender ideology, that's cult behavior. When you take a baby on a fucking video and prop them up like they're some kind of fucking model, that's cult behavior.
What is that genocide?
You're
Is that cult behavior?
You're two sick son of a bitches on X. I don't know their name. The one has long blonde hair and the other one's short blonde hair, and they're posing. And they got the babies and everything, the little twins, because they just celebrated a year-old birthday.
Is Steve Bannon one of those
That's
guys?
cult behavior. Those babies are going to grow up to be like messed up in the head because
What about
they're
the
not going to
genocide?
understand anything.
What about the genocide? Is that bad? Do you think there's a genocide going on?
Within America?
No, in Gaza.
There's no. That's not. Gaza's not a country. It's
You
not.
see what he's pulling.
Oh wow!
I see
right.
where he's going. Yeah, he's
I know
he's
exactly
trying.
what the sauce is now.
He's trying to
It's good to
derail
see you.
everything.
Good to see you,
yeah.
like how you really are. You're an Israel apologist, Russian plant.
I'm not a Russian. Have you not like looked at my acts? Like you know that I am with a firm.
Welcome, comrade.
What happened?
What the hell, comrade? Are you serious?
Comrade, welcome.
Bobby, what do you like? Hold on. I wish I had Joe on the show. I really do.
You know what? I do too. I apologize
because
I should have had Joe on the
show. For years, I believed all the bullshit that came out of Joe's mouth. Like he was like, "Oh, clueless nation, clueless nation." No, the true clueless nation, idiotic people out there are people like you, Tommy, and him, because you stand for radicalism. You truly do.
What does that mean? What does that mean, man?
Clueless nation?
What does that mean?
I'll tell you what clueless nation is. Clueless nation people are people that are literally funneling messages that they have no idea what the hell they're funneling. People that are literally provoking messages. They're provoking this. This is what they're provoking in the funneling. They're telling you that what Donald Trump is doing is radical. What conservatives are doing are radical, but yet alone, they don't show you the same messages that they are doing on the streets of America, that they are protesting, literally protesting. And you can tell Sauce, because Sauce was up in Washington. They want crime in cities. They want abortion. They want women murdering babies all the way to the full term, just about. They want that, but yet alone, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's normal behavior. But God forbid Donald Trump supports a country that has had our backs for a long time. Okay, like Israel,
like U.S.
But yet alone,
USS Liberty,
yet alone, that's not American.
Do you not know about the USS Liberty, Michael? Do you not know about the USS Liberty? Do you not know about that story?
I know, yeah.
Okay. Do you know about the fact that they stole our nuclear secrets in the Cold War? Did you know about that? Did you know about that? We still have a person in jail. About Netanyahu tried to get him out. He was a traitor to our country. He stole nuclear secrets for Israel. Do you know about Robert Maxwell, Michael?
Okay, so you're gonna.
You know about Robert Maxwell?
Hold on, Tommy. You're gonna label one person. See, this is the problem with the people on the left. They look for a defense mechanism like you're doing. Okay,
no, I'm asking you.
And they'll just to rebuttal. Hold on, just to rebuttal the conversation, they'll go to one bad egg of the batch, one bad egg, just to make a point. Name one person than him. I bet you can't. That otherly defines them as a radical nation. Other
Robert
than
Maxwell,
one bad egg.
Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm talking about people
Benjamin
of
Netanyahu,
Israel descent.
Prime Minister
Tommy, see, you can't. Leftists can't define.
I thought I was just doing it.
Jeffrey Epstein is an American. He
No,
wasn't born in Israel, was he?
He wasn't. No,
he wasn't. Oh, okay. You're gonna
pull
up a fake document like
files of Trump.
Oh, yeah.
I've been reading those.
See,
files,
I got you, Savage.
Files, man.
You said that Barack Obama wasn't born in America. See, I got you. I got you. Come on, man.
There's no files. There's no files.
There's no files?
There's no files.
So Sauce is saying there's no files. The Trump administration just released 3,330 files. It was on AP and Reuters. They just released those files. So there are files. He's a liar. See, Michael, he's a liar. You can't even see it. Trump just released them. He's a fucking liar.
Trump lives in your head, Tommy, and it's pathetic.
Trump's my president.
He lives in your head.
Trump's my president, bro.
He lives in their head, Sauce. He lives in every leftist head. Trump can say tomorrow that, folks, through scientific research, the sky is really gray, and you'll have like hundreds of thousands of liberals saying, "See, Trump is a crazy man." He lives in their head, rent free. rent
Well,
free.
Okay, Michael.
but here's the thing. So you brought up the files.
Can I
And
just talk to my friend real quick? Because I don't want to talk to you. You're a propagandist. Michael, I don't think that we should, like, this
No,
conversation.
hold
I want
on.
to have
No,
it with you.
no,
I don't want to
Sauce.
have it with a
Stop.
propagandist.
He's not a propagandist.
I'm sorry, man, but he is the foreign influence. I am convinced. Okay, I'm not
Foreign
clueless.
influence.
So
He's the true American immigrant.
he's the problem of America.
No, Sauce is the true American immigrant.
We're gonna
He came
get you.
to this
We're gonna get you
country
out, Sauce.
to escape
Me, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
craziness.
Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson. We're gonna get you out. Promise you.
Go ahead, Sauce. I'll let you speak.
Okay. Well, if you look,
Crazy, man.
so I want to tell you. See, this is a problem this is why we can't get anywhere, because the indoctrination is a real thing, and you saw it firsthand, and you saw it live on air.
Hold that point, Sauce. Hold that point, please. Thank
Perfect.
you. I'll give you the mic, okay? But there's a reason why I defend good people on this show. Sauce is a friend of mine on and off the show. I'm not speaking for Sauce. I am not, defending his battles. Sauce can defend his battles wholeheartedly as a man, but I will defend him as a person, as a character, as a human being. Okay? He's not a propagandist. He's not a cultist. He's none of that stupid shit that you claim him to be. Sauce is a man. He's a patriot of this nation. And he is the true immigrant of this nation. He is the right immigrants that we are looking for. None of these people that want to come here, that want to leech off of our welfare system, that want to, suck us dry. No. So all that crap that you say about Sauce, get out the door with it, because it's absolutely not true. Go ahead, Sauce. I'm sorry.
Well, and the thing is that, like, you also have to look at it is, as a person that's been to DC, I don't know how many times, like countless times, and speaks with lawmakers, firsthand what they really are, what they're made of, And another thing is that with Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, she's become soft on issues, and I don't know what she's become, because but it also shows you the influence of money, and I think I'll go back to what said to you the other day. Is I believe that if somebody pushes your limit, like your uncomfortability, if you're feeling uncomfortable, that's a good thing. But there's a certain point where, okay, maybe I gotta push back. Maybe I gotta be on the good side. So I'll take some money, I'll take some bribes, and then I'll backstab America maybe a couple times, and then I'll be in the good wings. I'll get airtime, and I'll get the money that I need to fill up my coffers again. And then once I have that, then I'll go back out and I'll, ruffle up some feathers a little bit, but not too much, because I don't want my handlers getting upset. See, it's interesting because I say follow the money, and 9 out of the 10 times the money is from either Act Blue or it's from George Soros. My whole thing is, why didn't Tommy, whatever his name is, or propagandist Tommy, why didn't he mention George Soros? He mentioned of all these countries, all these so-called people, but George Soros, he's Austrian and he lives in Austria.
Yeah.
He gives billions of dollars and he influences our elections. Even President Trump said that, I don't know how many times, where George Soros has he's damaged, and he owns a lot of politicians, and a lot of them are Democrats, but they're super extreme, and and he owns a lot of the media publicity, and so does pharmaceutical companies. So if a pharmaceutical company, for example, if I sponsor a show and I give thousands of dollars or $5, and the only show is dependent on me, of course I'm going to say, I want you to lie to the viewers. I want you to lie to the viewers, and I want you to lie. I want you to distract, and I don't want you to tell them the truth. Or I'm going to stop funding your show. Well, of course, they're going to say, okay, well, we'll lie to the viewers so we can get the money, aka CNN and even Fox News. And
Sauce, that's what, real quick, that's what they've become over the years.
Yeah.
The news is not reliable anymore.
And even our politicians are the same thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene, George Massey, or Massey, whatever his name is, or Tom Massey, getting this whole Epstein list, putting on such a sad show, we got victims and stuff, and saying that we have a list. I was about to say, well, I think I have a list since everybody else has a list. Since, the whole thing is, once again, I think Tommy Nation is incorrect on this 100% with the whole list, the Epstein list. Do I believe the Epstein list exists? No. Do I believe that like the Biden DOJ tampered with the list? 100% I do. To redact or to somehow scrub, well, just like Hillary Clinton scrubbed her laptop, scrub like everybody that they like, that they were protecting, and put everybody that kept on the list, like for example, Trump, who I don't really think is on the list, like what Massey wants to think and what the Democrats want to think. He's not on the list. So of course it's been tampered with. And again, if you also have to look at Bill Barr, who was on this wagon to go after Trump through this whole Epstein list. Everything's all coming to the deep state, and that's going against and undermining it, underrooting our core democracy, not like democracy what Zelensky and what Tommy Nation and what the Democrats want, but our core constitutional republic.
That's that one thing I agree with Tommy is that foreign influence.
It's not foreign influence.
Hold on, Sas. You're gonna understand what I mean by this, okay? Because I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it wholeheartedly. You are getting some slight degree of influence in coming from other radical nations influencing the left into persuading the hatred with the left and the right. That is the ultimate swift change with the party. That's why the party has become radicalized. They didn't become radicalized on their own. Other countries that hate us are trying to divide us. They're trying to divide us. They're making Democrats, leftists now, literally cause all this to a small degree. To a small degree. Okay?
I don't know.
It's not a full percent of foreign influence, but a small degree. I give it a small, like maybe 10, 15% degree. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I want to tell you, I want to tell you, I am not I'm not a propagandist.
You're not. I don't see that in you, Sas. I see a person that speaks good on his word, that does not hold back. You don't hold back. I mean, you sometimes you have to fire back, at the wolves, right? And the sheep in order to, not control them, but to make sure there's center balance.
Well, and then you look at like certain people like these all like Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff. She's done this before, but have you also noticed that they're not running for re-election too? So
that's the problem with the left. See, they'll agree with anybody on the right that more or less goes into that black pill scenario, right? As soon as they do this, like the people that black pill, they do it for a reason. Like they're losing momentum on the right?
Yeah.
So they'll have to black pill to get some type of attention, and they know they'll get it from the left. The left are like they're bootlickers.
Look at Mike Pence. Mike Pence is the same thing. Mike Pence blackpilled, and Liz Cheney, and Tom Massey blackpilled, and now that. But then you also have Tom Massey. All these so-called Republicans that say, "Oh yeah, we stand for what is right and stuff," and then next they're coming out and saying, "Well, we got to do this and this and this, impeaching President Trump and stuff," and now that. But then we have to condone that January 6th was bad, and everybody else that was there was bad. But without looking at the full facts and without actually looking at the whole big picture. They only look at the tiny part that their brains can handle, and they don't like to do their own research. Heavens forbid.
That's the little narrative points they pick out. And propagandists,
I'd like to see what he thinks.
Propagandists, I would love to see what he says. I mean, literally, for years, I'll admit it again on the show, I believed all the bullshit Joe was talking about. But Joe and Tommy, they're almost one and one. They're within the same person of a character. Propagandists are the ones that are seen on the left. Those are the ones that are orchestrating the propaganda. Oh, if you don't support LGBTQ individuals, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're this. That's propaganda, is it not? Come on.
That's very propaganda. Well, and that's very propaganda. I know that, but that's also when you don't look at the full facts, that means you're willing to settle down and for mediocrity, and then you're willing to like say, oh, well, I don't want to educate myself. I'm all about educating, and I'm all about like, educating yourself, and as well as trying to get the big picture of things, not looking at the small picture, not looking at my wallet, and not looking at my my reputation. As you can probably tell, like, I don't really care what people think of me anymore. I told you that last night. There comes a point where when like, for example, I used to be that kind of a person where I would walk the fine line. I would not touch the forbidden topics. In my podcasting career, I would talk about like, oh, I can't swear on X. I don't want to put a bad picture on it and stuff. I don't want to do this, and this because I might offend someone. But then there comes to a point where when somebody hits back at you and then you just sit on your hands and then don't do anything about it, then they keep hitting at you and stuff. Then that gets to your head. And then it comes to a point where like, okay, maybe what happens if I hit back? And then, you go through some stuff, you go through like what I've went through and stuff. And now you're just like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care what they think. You have to put on your big boy britches, and that's what I think, and that's what I did. And you hit back, and you hit back twice, and then but you like to hit them back with information, with educational stuff, and with proof. I need the proof, and I don't want to hear rhetoric. I need actual cold, hard proof and evidence, like actual picture evidence, like me going to DC and seeing how radical those protesters are. Did Tommy Nation go to those? No, besides go to Dallas and, to the Democrat headquarters, and where it's a big thought bubble, and they're like, saying, well, I could solve the problem, you could solve the problem.
They go to blue mud holes. They really don't go to the hole. I mean, literally,
The hellhole.
More or less, yeah. Now here's something here I want to put up as we kind of close up. This is the issue, Sauce, that we're seeing. The true political spectrum, right?
Mhm.
This is everything currently right now in America.
Yep.
And sadly, if we allow the propagandists on the left, folks, on the left, orchestrate this crap, the Democrats will always have total power. Always.
Yep.
You see that? Republic, the rule of law, the Constitution limited government, right? For peace and prosperity of liberty. Democracy, right? Tyranny of minority by the majority, mob rule, expansive government, entitlements, right? They turn into corporalism, right? I mean, it labels everything. And then obviously the absence of government is anarchy, right? That's what we're going into slowly by slowly. And we can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
and my thing is that, like, I am definitely, I will do everything and anything to make sure that, this doesn't, it's a constant battle, and it's like a constant, like, it wears on you mentally and physically. But it's important because you're saving for the next generation, because you're in the fight right now. But think of I'm not doing this for this generation because this generation is long gone, but I'm doing it for my kids and my grandkids, and now that, but for the future kids and for the future generation. And that's what I'm doing for, because it's history that you cannot allow to repeat itself. And clearly New York City wants to repeat history by electing communism and socialism at its fullest extent. And
that's the issues, and guys, I encourage you guys to pick up these books. One of the reasons why I wrote some of these books, Project Earth, Humanity's Next Act. That is going to be our next act as human beings, to understand where we are going to fit in modern society. Are we going to act like hooligans and animals amongst each other? Or are we going to try to get along? We don't have to agree with every opinion, but have common discourse, right, Sas? That's what it's about. Common discourse. Cut this radicalized shit out the window. I'm tired of hearing it. Seriously.
Yeah, and I think it's, but I don't think we are. This just shows you, like, even President Trump winning the election, it just shows you that we have a long ways to work, and we have a long ways for us to. It's a constant battle, and it's definitely it's a continuous battle, and it's a continuous, like, making sure that people are educated. But it's going to be it just shows you like where can we go, but it all starts back up at the colleges. It starts at our high schools, and it starts at
The
and,
education.
and I want to know what is okay. This other thing that blows my mind is, don't you find it creepy and creepy as hell knowing that like the Democrats prey on kids and that they're like all about over factuating the kids, but it goes in along with the narrative of saying, well, once you indoctrinate the kids, you indoctrinate the generations to come. So I guess Tommy is correct, where you get kind of a. I will give him a credit on that, where he is correct on this, where saying that it's okay to
Small
groom your.
degree.
Well, maybe where you will groom. It's okay to groom your kids, and it's okay to making sure that pedophiles and criminals are okay. You prioritize that over your actual law-abiding immigrants and law-abiding citizens, because you have as long as you have one mentally ill person, that person deserves more rights than I do or even you do, and then
And
we're better supposedly
and that goes to my point when I just had him on recently. I
better.
said that, by what Sauce was doing was showing you true evidence of what this party represents, the left.
Hmm. And he
They're
doesn't like that.
they're no, they don't like that. They don't like when you actually, like, show proof. Which, folks, I don't I shouldn't have to do that again on this show. Go back to last week's show where we showed one clip after the next clip after the next clip of Sauce literally just pouring out the evidence, showing those receipts like we say in the media. And they don't like that. They do not like that. Sauce, a little thing I like to have fun on this show. Niagara Falls. Look, it's all raining right now. The snowflakes, the snowflakes. See all the rain on the screen, guys? The snowflakes. Oh my goodness. You know? So I mean, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Hmm.
We are not the propagandists, the conservatives, the true conservatives. And if you stand for conservatism in this country and you label another conservative a true conservative, you'll know if you're talking to a true conservative or you're talking to a fake, because the fakes stand out right away. They're labeled as rhinos. They're fake conservatives.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She's a rhino.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson is a rhino.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's all about corporate. Yeah,
It's about money
exactly.
and
Without
about Satan, selling your soul to Satan.
without those sponsors, they're DOA, folks. They're dead on arrival because
Hmm.
because then they don't have anything. They don't have a base. See, for me, let me label myself as we can kind of land the plane here, so I can give you a little clarity. Yeah, I'm a media personality. I have a syndicated podcast on Spotify, right? I have podcast sponsorship, but it's not about sponsorship. I don't do this to get rich. I don't do this to create fake illusions of myself. I do this because I'm trying to educate the true masses of this country, the true Americans of this nation to wake up, understand what your neighbors are doing to you every single day. Your politicians, your like I said, your neighbors, your elected officials, they're undermining your character, folks. You want to live in that? That sounds like socialism kind of going into communism. That doesn't sound like a national republic.
Hmm.
It doesn't, Sauce. You know, to close it out with you, Sauce, I was in an X space about a couple nights ago, and a so-called Christian space. Okay. And I hate to bring Christianity into this, but first and foremost, guys, I'm not religious, but I'm highly spiritual. I do believe there is a creator, but I don't believe in the religious concept of it. And I hope I can have your respect by saying that. Okay. But this so called Christian space was going into literally radicalism, Sauce. And it broke my heart for those that do believe in Christianity, where they were indicating that man was designed to abstain. I'm trying to remember how they went into it, because they went into a whole bunch of nonsense where they actually told me that they went into the uh, Enoch book, right? If if I pronounced that right.
Enoch.
Dead Skis, Enoch, yeah. They went into that. They went into the Dead Ski Scrolls. They went into saying stuff that was not in the Bible for certain reasons because they're trying to hide that from man because it would hurt man. It would break down humanity. Uh, the man and dinosaur walked amongst each other, and how dinosaurs are 1,000 years old, and there was no 60 million years of evolution between the two types of entities known as man and dinosaur. After hearing that, I'm like, you guys call yourself Christians? And then to take out science out of Christianity, which I had to correct. I do read Christianity to an extent. Christianity, Sauce, I don't know if you want to kind of fill in the blanks here, but Christianity actually believes in science. True Christians, they believe in science. Matter of fact, the highest amount of pastors in this world came from science. They did. But to deny how science is the true evil of this world and Christianity is the true truth of this world is craziness. Because without science, nothing really is explained correctly. Reading the Bible is great, but understanding the scientific facts behind it, that's what makes up the Bible. Science is in the Bible. And for them to tell me that, oh, no, science is not in the Bible, I'm like, are you crazy? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that you have one of the greatest, from a biblical context person, you have one of the, throughout history and stuff, your biggest contributors were people of faith. Your biggest contributors for the scientific world are people of faith. So I don't understand and that's what paints a bad picture as Christians. That's what paints a really nasty picture of saying that, well, Christianity, like we're scientific deniers and we're this and this and that. But at the same time, like, for example, if I understand, but like science does help people. Like, if we didn't have science, I would not be here. If I did not believe in science, I would probably be dead, actually, because I had a stroke back in 2019, and we're coming up on 6 years. It's been 6 years since I had the massive stroke, actually.
Science helps define its existence in the modern world. And for folks to deny that, I find that to be utterly crazy.
And that is actually a cultist. Anyone that denies something blatantly.
You're not the only one that said that to me. I was talking to a good friend of mine that is actually, he's a true Christian. He goes to church every Sunday. I'm not doxing his name because I respect his privacy. But I was telling him about this space I was in the other night, a couple nights ago. And I was telling him some of the conversations that were being, spoken of in the space. And I'm telling him about all this stuff, how they're saying that dinosaur walked among man and how man and dinosaur coexisted and how science is lying to us every single day with even stuff relating to dinosaur fossils and the age and the gap between man and dinosaur. That's all lies by science. NASA's lying to us. All scientists in high respected universities are lying to us. Everything is a lie, they said. And he's like, how the hell can that be a lie? He said. He says, these well-respected scientists in highly accredited universities and laboratories, they study the bones of dinosaur. And they can give you not the exact date, but pretty damn close to how old that bone is, which is millions of years old. How can you tell me that, the gap between dinosaur, you're going to love this, Sauce. We're running out of time, but I got to get this in here. That dinosaur and the first man and woman, known as Adam and Eve, are only get this, Sauce, 50 years apart.
Oh.
They said that dinosaur is only 50 years apart, the last known dinosaur, okay? Which I was trying to get their understanding of it. Which period of the I'm using layman's terms, guys, of the dinosaur era are you talking about? What are you talking about? I said, well, if you feel that dinosaurs are, guys, I'm not trying to be, rude by saying this, but I'm going into now my savage mode. If if you feel that dinosaurs are only, thousands of years old, you would agree that there are eras of dinosaur. There's the Cretaceous period, the Jurassic period, right? Which period are you referring to? That's not true, folks. That's not true, he said. Come on with that garbage. There's a 65 between a 62 folks and a 65 million year gap between man and dinosaur. That's a proven fact. Dinosaurs were here first before man. And that is explained in the Bible. Is it not? I don't know what Bible you're reading, but I read the Bible. Not the whole part of the Bible, but I read parts of it. And I remember seeing that there is a large gap between man and dinosaur, a large gap.
Mhm.
Those were the first beasts on the planet. We are labeled as an intelligent form of beast, a very highly intelligent form of beast. That's the scientific Christianity that most modern Christians believe in. And I'm not even Christian, folks, and I can say that to you. I'm spiritual, but I'm not a religious Christian. That's coming from somebody that's highly spiritual. Ain't that crazy, Sauce?
Mhm.
I mean, I agree with Christians, rightful minded Christians, not these cultist Christians, because like you said, Sauce, that sounds like a damn cult, and it was a cult.
Mhm.
So,
Well, in that way, Tommy and Joseph are correct. So I would give them 2 cents, 2 cents out of the 98 cents.
but
But
Sauce, I wanted you to come on here to defend your character of a person. And folks, I want to say this here. Let me pull this up in the big screen here. I hope that your trust does not differentiate from Sauce. I hope the clarity was very well spoken and clear to the point here on this show. I brought Sauce here on the show for one reason, to defend his character and to show you who he truly is. A man of faith, a man of God, and a man with a mission to restore true American traditions in this nation, which he is proven to do every single time. So,
Yep.
Sas, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Please plug to my audience so they can find you more and stay.
Yes.
Stay in
So I just got Instagram. So it's called Sauce Only Fans. Yes. And it's SAUCE.
Yeah.
Sauce Only. Yep. Sauce Only Fans. And it is Sauce Newell on X. And then if you have LinkedIn, it's Sauce Newell Teemanson. Facebook is Sauce Teemanson. And then TikTok, if I'm not banned, it's just Sauce or Life with Sauce. So, or military investment travel things. So, and then I also have a Life with Sauce podcast. More than welcome to follow and subscribe onto those platforms. So I want to say thank you so much, Michael, and hopefully we can make this occurrence weekly thing. I'm going to try to work this out to make it more of a weekly appearance, if that's okay with you, to kind of input and
As long as your people and followers, right, your group there with your content does not look at me different. Yes, guys, I can be a little obnoxious and a little savage, right? But I am a good savage. I'm not a bad savage. I am on here to defeat and battle radicalism in this nation. That's why I had to call my show the Savaged Unfiltered Show. Because I'm like Sauce. I'm willing to get into the lion's den of this radicalism and literally take them out like I'm a big giant and just go, get out of here. Get out of here, Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. I got to let you guys go. So I'll talk to you later.
All right, Sauce. Take it easy, buddy. So, guys, if you like what you hear, please, like I always say, give us 5 stars on any social media platform that you're currently listening to us, whether it's a video podcast on Rumble or YouTube or even on X sometimes, TikTok, or audio platforms, 30 plus platforms constantly growing. So thank you very much for those that have been checking us out on those platforms. Even my good friends over there on AudioMac and Podbean. Thank you very much. I see you guys on Podbean. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit those comments in. Always appreciate it. And guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go over to my good friends, the Old Man's podcast. I'm gonna see if he's still doing it, and hopefully I can get in some conversations, guys. Check me out over there if he hasn't already ended that. But other than that, guys, thanks very much. We'll catch you later.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.